Good morning, everybody. Today's Saturday, August 2nd. Hope you all doing well today. Glad it's a weekend. I know I am. I hope you are too. Anyway, this is the current weather, mid-level water vapor loop showing the drier, cooler air that's moving into the northeast by the deep yellow here. And this can be seen better at the lower levels, how dry the air is at the lower levels here, especially along the California coast. um, Upper Midwest, high plains, into the Great Lakes, and the Northeast and Mid Atlantic as well. Although the mid levels are a little more moisture at the Mid Atlantic, upper level trough moving through as well along the southeast coast and along uh, into Dixie Alley, up into the upper Midwest, high plains, northern high plains, all the way up into Canada, have a lot of moisture at the mid levels. And this will continue for the foreseeable future, especially for the southeast and deep south, with rainfall likely or chance of rainfall each day for quite a while here. Don't have a lot on the map to talk about today. Only heat advisories down in southern Florida, with some red flag warnings, extreme heat warnings, extreme heat watches in the desert Southwest and Southeast California. If you look at a bit busy here, but it just combines all the radars across the whole nation. What you notice on the other map was not even flood warnings going on right now, so that's pretty nice too. And so you have some moisture still moving off of the front range of the Rockies, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, off of the southeast coast, and South Carolina, ports of North Carolina. This overall troughiness and unsettled weather along this, wherever the front stalls out, will be continued for the foreseeable future, at least for the short and midterm forecast. So, guys, go back to the HRRR model, most current run, and temperature. You can see the delineation of the really cool air here, current temps. The 50s up here in the Northeast, Mid Atlantic, up in the Great Lakes, and for it's going to warm up some today, maybe into the 70s. Go back one, close to 80 in New York City, but you can see even into the southeast, it's not going to be nearly as hot today, and cooling off nicely towards the evening. As far as national threat today, severe thunderstorms are slight risk is in place for the central southern high plains. Large hail and damaging wind gusts are the primary threat from supercells, and strong storms, scattered strong thorns are possible on the southeast. The widespread severe weather is not expected. However, some of these of off off the Front Range of the Rockies was surrounded by marginal risk for a good portion. The foothills of the Rockies and Front Range, and this threat is mostly given by wind and hail, 15 and 5%, and hail, 15 and 5%, and tornado chance low 2%. The wind risk is driven here in the southeast by possibility of water-loaded downdrafts, isolated severe storms that produce these downdrafts. Um, Definitely a possibility today. Going back to the hazards outlook, there's also the threat of heavy rainfall as tropical moisture will fuel storms capable of localized flash flooding today. The greatest risk today is Iowa and Missouri, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the southeast. Of rainfall day one outlook, slight risk in these areas here, southeast, along the spine of the Appalachians, right in northern Georgia, parts of Tennessee, North Carolina, and in parts of Oklahoma and Texas, with a marginal risk surrounding that. And we go into day two, which is tomorrow. Still slight risk in these areas here, excessive rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. And going into day three, which is Monday, still marginal risk in these areas: Montana, parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Georgia, and Alabama, and parts of South Carolina. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but you can see how these areas are focused for a long period, and this frontal boundary is from today, not 4 days out. So this continues, with the chance of excessive rainfall in the same areas, and it really depends on where these uh, patterns set up, how much rainfall we'll get, whether or not they may increase this risk or decrease it over time. So as far as today's forecast goes for Warner Robins area, I have a lot of loyal viewers here in Warner Robins. I thought I'd like to go over it. Shower and thunderstorms today. Good chance of shower and thunderstorms, 587. Tonight, low 71. Shower and thunderstorms are likely. And again, tomorrow, there's a 90% chance from the high 79, even cooler tomorrow. And you see the winds out of the east and northeast for the whole time here, which helps bring cooler air off the Atlantic, and also, from the northeast with a weak wet wedge CAD, cold air damming type setup, not cold air, maybe cool air. Anyway, shower thunderstorms on Sunday night, same thing, low 67. That's going to feel good. Still going to be humid, but cooler. So you can see going on here, highs in the 70s, 80s, lows near 70, getting up into 80s again towards the end of the period, but with a pretty good chance, at least a moderate chance of precip each day going into next Friday. So, and highs will be moderated in the 70 and the 80s at the most. So it's going to feel a lot better than it has been in quite some time. Eventually, you have Hurricane Gil out here in the Eastern Pacific. Iona is no longer a tropical system. You have two other potential systems forming in the future here in the Eastern Pacific, and this is echoed by Iona's no longer, I don't think. Anyway, doesn't really matter. It's not going to really affect anybody. Gale is out here, but it's moving towards cooler, drier, more stable conditions, and it's likely not to intensify much more. So back to this here. So the other disturbance in the Eastern Pacific is at 80% chance of developing in 7 days, and the other one medium chance in 7 days as well. It really doesn't appear they're going to be any threat to land, so not really. Last advisory issued on Iona. For the Atlantic, no activity expected during the next 7 days. Although I looked at the models this morning, this is what I show pretty much every day. I'm going to go through the loop here. The models are kind of hinting at maybe something developing off the eastern U.S. or in the Gulf of Mexico in the short term meaning within the next 4 or 5 days, but nothing really gets going. And you have a cluster of European and AA models around this area here, moving through the just north of the Lesser Antilles. And the European, let me stop it and go back just a little bit. European high res model today is showing possibility of a tropical storm being this area on August 11th, which is 9 days away, which is outside of where I think we can get reliable forecasts. However, it does signal an increased uptick in activity. And if you go back a model run here, it's loading. So back to August 11th. Doesn't let me do that. Let's try a different model run. How about 12 UTC? August 11th. Why isn't it showing anything? Oh, I guess it's loading. It's taking a while to load, folks. Sorry. But you can see the same kind of scenario initially. Moving through time here. Same kind of clustering, but the European this time wants to develop a tropical system out in the north of the Lesser Antilles. I think there's still, at least from the European model, there seems to be more agreement on something being out there. So if you go to the European ensembles, which I've talked about before, and this is the latest run today, August 2nd, and they show ensemble member MSLP around this time. Quite a lot of positive signal for something, relatively stronger system being in this area around the August 11th. You can see a larger clustering out here in the southern Atlantic Ocean, as indicated by the European ensemble. Now, if we go back a model run, if it's available, this is 2 runs ago. Not as much agreement, but if you go forward, more agreement now. So let's switch to the. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, and models diverge a little bit more as you get further out in time, which I would expect. However, there's more agreement than there was. So environmental conditions may be improving enough where we may have something develop. If we switch to the American model, the 00Z, go out to August 11th. This is 31 members. there's a lot of signal here in the Caribbean for something developing, but nothing really tightly clustered. And it's hard to really tell. This being this far apart from each other is really hard to get a beat on really what's going to happen. However, going back one model run, it did show something a little bit further north of Lesser Antilles, and even back even further, it did have something north of the Cuba, Haiti, and those areas. So, given the agreement on models here, I'm going to go through the super ensemble. There are some in the super ensemble, a few that want to develop something there off the Caribbean, but they're not a large signal right now. As you get further out in time, you see how everything spreads out even more. It's really hard to get an idea of where things are going to be at that point. Go back in time here a little bit. These are different model runs. You don't see a lot of signal from this, but I'm a little more confident that something will develop in the next week, a week and a half out here in the Caribbean, north of the Lesser Antilles, most likely, given the troughiness along the east of the U.S., unless that lifts out, most likely curve out to sea, but we'll just have to see. Anyway, that's it for today, and I appreciate y'all listening. I hope you have a good day.